I was the area vice president of private client insurance at Gallagher Inc. It's one of the largest brokerages in the United States. You've got Marsh, you've got Aon, you've got Willis, you got Gallagher. These people sponsor like sports stadiums and uh, um, big real estate icons like the Willis Tower, which we still call the Sears Tower in Chicago, or at least people have been here a while. The Aon building. We still call it the Amoco building, but some people call it the Aon building because that's what it is now because they paid to be on the building. So the insurance industry was my pit stop. I was in it for 18 months, State Farm for 12, and then Gallagher until I was mercifully fired, put out of my misery. When they gave me the key card to get into in the building, I knew it was over from day one. And I thought, oh my God, I talked myself into this place. I'm going to make it a success. And I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to succeed here like I've succeeded everywhere else in my entire life. And I'm going to make them money. And I will get the autonomy, authority, and courage that I need from this job. And I will set it up like when I own my own business, which I'd had to close and cash out of before the industry collapsed, which is what led to insurance in the first place. This was a while back. And what I learned from being at Gallagher was that I will never work for anyone again, and that I haven't. Now, when breaking out of corporate thinking, I'm not talking about corporate. I'm talking about the mentality of the need for security, stability, and a paycheck every month. Breaking out of that thinking means going deeper. And that's what happened. And that's what I'm going to talk about, because if you're able to do this, you'll be able to do anything. We escape the system by rebuilding it. Where is the system? Is it out there in the insurance industry, franchise world? Start your own company, one-person business on social media, become a persuasive influencer using marketing to get a following? Is that where it is? Is that where the system is? Is that where the freedom is? Is that what needs to be rebuilt? I rebuilt myself and got what I wanted, and it's worked my entire life, which means I know it works. The illusion of freedom led me to seek security and stability and safety in the insurance industry, despite it being a terrible fit for me and who and what I am. I did not plan to go into insurance. It turned out to be a bridge where I learned things that I need to know now, because I know that industry cold from the inside out, insurance and financial services. I'm probably one of the few that actually read the policies. One of the few brokers, agents, now I'm not talking about Gallagher level. That's different. They know the policies. Some of them do, but they have teams. And I interviewed at a company called Hub, and I remember I didn't get the job, and I liked Hub a lot, and I ended up getting into Gallagher, area vice president. I made up the title. Their title was account executive, and I was just like, no, that's not going to work. And the area president, another made up title. There's no such thing as an area president. It's insurance consulting, advertising. You need a good title or nobody takes you seriously. But nobody takes you seriously with those titles because everybody knows it's bullshit anyways. You're not the president of the company if you're the area president. And I was certainly not a vice president at Gallagher. I was a new guy trying to sell stuff with a card that said area vice president, private client insurance, something I knew nothing about, even though I'd been with State Farm, not corporate, for 12 months and succeeded there doing something no one had done yet in the company that I saw. Nobody. I did something for State Farm no one had done. I sold over 100 And I'm not saying 100 policies. I didn't sell 100 auto policies or what they call fire policies. I sold 100 different products. I didn't count, but it must have been at least 100. So, shoot me if I'm wrong, if it was 50. Most of the people in that system didn't even know they existed. That State Farm had a partnership with Aon, State Farm for professional liability for accountants, dentists, architects, engineers, funeral homes, car washes. I sold all of it. They had a whole program for contractors. As long as you weren't doing anything too complicated. They did workers' compensation. I sold all of it. Buildings. I explored the inner bowels of State Farm. And I went door to door for a year in the city of Chicago. I went to Chinatown. I sold a Chinese accountant, and she had no insurance, and she owned the building, I think. And I don't know how she did it. But she got away with it. I sold a Puerto Rican funeral home from a family business, and it was a fire trap. And the State Farm underwriter, who I got you got to make, if you're in insurance, you make relationships with the underwriters. That's where the ticket is. They want to sell policies too. And you got to understand the claims people. You got to understand the policy. You have to understand the strategy of the insurance company. What is the point of all this? The point is, it's all a big trap. It's a trap because you are a cog in their system. Now, that's fine if that's what you want. And when I got into Gallagher, I'm like, this is never going to work. I thought, I got to be really careful what I say here because I am going to be viewed as extremely weird by these people. Nice people. But this is a bad fit. Day one. And I knew it. And I'm like, how am I going to fake this so I don't lose my job? Because I need a break. I need a break before I get into it. And I really didn't think I thought maybe this will work. Like I'll have this is going to be great. I'm going to have a corporate career. I talked myself into it. Like maybe you're talking yourself into becoming an influencer on social media or getting a big audience and monetizing that with a course or a group coaching program, or you're telling yourself something that is not true and will never happen, or that your industry won't change and you won't lose your job because of AI, because everybody's going to lose their job because of AI. Now, those are extreme statements, and I don't know the specifics because local knowledge is always first over opinion statements. Those are just big statements. But look around. I'm talking about what you can do to get real freedom. Freedom comes from inside. It comes from being strong. I got strong. 12 months selling insurance door to door in Chicago to Nigerian furniture store owners, Filipino mortgage brokers. Why do I mention the ethnicities? Because immigrants don't like paying for insurance, but they also don't want to get screwed by the system and they don't understand how it works. And I would sit down with somebody and I say, how many employees do you have? And they say, I don't have any. I'd say, how many contractors do you have? And they say 15, but I don't have any employees, so I don't need, it's fine. And I said, can I tell you something? Have you ever heard of workers' compensation in the state of Illinois? And the answer was, well, that doesn't apply to me. I said, how do you know that? And the answer was, do you tell them what to do and direct their effort, or are they part of your product system? And I said, you know what happens if one of those people decides they want to who's going to decide to come after you? The plaintiff's attorneys. They know exactly how to take your business away from you. Well, yeah, but I have a corporation. Doesn't matter. Workers' comp. You know how cheap this is? And they said yes. And then I couldn't get the deals closed. Why? They couldn't find the paperwork. So I learned. I'd walk in door to door, and I did a lot of cold calling all over the city. State Farm agents stay in little territories. I think I joined 15 chambers of commerce just to network, looking for clients. I went back to all the store owners that I'd met previously. I asked everybody I knew, you know anybody who owns a business? I did this for a year. And then I'm like, Getting a State Farm agency will not lead to freedom for me, I realized. So I thought, okay, if I'm going to have to work for somebody else, it might as well be Gallagher or Hub or Aon or Marsh, or maybe I can make a real career out of this and be an expert in insurance and be a real broker. And the answer was no, that's not going to work. I got in though. I walked away. They fired me. Did I walk away? Both, both. Um, did I do everything I could do at Gallagher? Yes. I made him give me the right title. I bought an Audi. I got him to pay for the insurance. I went to everything. I networked like a maniac. I tried to find every wealthy person I could find to get introduced to somebody who owned yachts, airplanes, boats, and companies. Private client. I met Chubb. I went to Chubb. I got them to send me to the training program at Chubb and pay for it. No one had ever paid for me to do anything in my life. They paid for it. I didn't pay for it. I got them to send me to San Francisco to shadow a very successful private client broker out there. And you know what I learned at the end? They bought a brokerage in Lake Forest. And they came in and I'm like, how do you sell insurance? I'm asking these guys. And he said, it's easy. I said, doesn't seem easy. Trusted advisor networks is how. I started building trusted advisor networks. How about attorneys? So I started networking with attorneys. I thought, oh, the rich people don't want to talk to me. They have family offices. What's a family office? I figured out how family offices work. Trusted advisor networks. I did all of it. What happened at the end? It was a father and son team. The brokerage they bought, Gallagher bought, probably paid a couple million for it to buy the book. That's what they're doing to get growth. Smart strategy. A lot smarter than hiring somebody like me to go run around and figure it out. That's what I do. Wrong place to do it. You don't get security when you're like me. Security comes from inside, not in the world. It comes from inside. I'm inventing and creating. Who's going to have to invent and create their life now? I think everybody. It's shifting. Have you noticed? Learning those skills is important. I asked the son, so he's younger than me. Father was a lot older, obviously. This was years ago. And I said, how'd you guys do it? How'd you build the brokerage? He says, I know a lot of private equity people. I'm like, where'd you grow up? Lake Forest. Oh, where'd you go to Oh, you went to Lake Forest High School. He says, yeah, I know a lot of, oh, so you went to the kids you grew up with who became private equity and that's it? That's it. And he went into his dad's business. And I thought, oh, that's how it works. And then I noticed everybody's name was Gallagher or Doyle or Van something, not Van Tynen, but Van. I'm like, oh. And a friend of mine told me, he's like, how many people do you know? I said, I know a lot of people. I network like a maniac. He said, it's not the same thing. He said, how many rich people do you know? And the answer was, I have networks into wealthy people. I can figure that out. How long is it going to take? Years. Because they've already got a family office handling it. They've already got a trusted advisor team. I have to break in cold. Years. Was Gallagher going to support that? No. Why would they? Why would they? It doesn't make any sense. Why was I hired? Think about that. I talked my way in. What happens when you talk your way in? Why did I talk my way in? I wanted a break. What happened after insurance? I'm networking like a maniac after I got fired. I'm collecting unemployment. I still have a lot of money in the bank because I cashed out of this business. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I met a woman at a trade show and she said, you got to read this book, Wisdom of Crowds. What did I do? I got into AI, marketing analytics. This was a long time ago. I went into what's next. The most uncertain, insecure possible decision that I could make. And I was done with franchises, stability, systems that are owned by other people. Done. And I realized in 2013 or 2023, I was doing the same thing online. So I'm going to become popular in someone else's system. So LinkedIn owns my brand, audience, and content. YouTube would own my brand, audience, and content. Now Substack would own my audience. I got into Substack over almost a year ago. Now I see everybody going on to Substack, trying to build an audience on Substack. Substack owns the audience. It's your list, unless you bring it there. But you need them and their algorithmic system and networking through their system to build something on their system. It's not yours, it's theirs. Yes, you own your name. It's not good enough for me. I created something I own. I've done this my whole life. Insurance was a bridge, a way to stabilize things while I figured out my next move. But like this, so many chapters in my entrepreneur path that turned into something so much deeper. How did I increase my inner strength from, let's say, level 15 to level 115? That 18 months, hardest thing I've ever done. And I've done a lot of hard things. I went door to door. I learned the ins and outs of 100 different policies, and I redesigned outdated systems at State Farm, and I made it work. And I made money in the second month for the agent. It's big money because when you get a small business to change insurance providers, they immediately lose the file. And they're like, I took care of that. You got them for 15 years, unless something goes wrong, because no one wants to figure that out. It's too complicated. Who wins the insurance and financial services game every time? I know how it's played. The carrier. What are they doing? They want to float and they want to invest it. That's the entire business. And then they have to pay out claims contractually. And the minute they see a lot of claims, it's all regulated. It's a simple industry, not for the buyer. That's why I succeeded, but it really wasn't. The way I succeeded was I figured out what people really needed, which was for someone to find their file and look through it and say, here's what you got. Here's the problem with what you got, or this is going to work. Oh, and by the way, did you know State Farm does this, 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 and this? And then I formed partnerships with all those institutional partners in State Farm and inner systems people, so I could get it through underwriting, which is the hard part. By the time I got to Gallagher, I knew how it worked. Now I'm in the pro leagues, but I'm not an insurance pro, and I don't want to be one. I don't want to be a risk manager. Those are the best people at insurance. They got the big networks and they're risk managers, or they have a risk management team that understands contractual insurance law. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I can't stand it. I want to innovate and create new ideas. What do you want to do? You want to be popular on social media? Is that your dream? If it is, do it. But you're going to need real money to do that. Organic media is expensive. So on paper, I'm winning. Anyone would look at me and say, wow, that guy's a winner. He walked away with hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's rehabbing a house in the city of Chicago. He got cheap. He's racing sailboats. He's got an incredible spouse. And he's got some serious IRA money, and he's innovating. How did I feel? Something felt off. I started to see how the freedom of being a captive, they call it captive agent. I love insurance. They're just honest. You're a captive agent. If you're in an insurance broker, or not broker, but State Farm, captivate. I'm captive. I was anything but. I was inside a system built on illusion, structured to reward obedience, not vision. State Farm is an illusionary system. So is McDonald's. So are all of them, because they own your product. Those are great companies for people who are not entrepreneurs, who want a stable income. If they won't provide that, be aware. Remember curves. Remember curves. I looked at fast signs and that looked solid. Well, not so much for me. What's the most important thing owning a sign company? Process, efficiency, getting shit done quick for people, turnaround quote time, and having a lead system that brings people in the door. I didn't want to do all that. What's the most important client for a sign company? Did you know this? Railroad. Those little things on the side of rail cars are signs. Guess what? I had a relationship with a railroad broker, leasing company, big, owned by GE, I think, network into that entire industry. If I'd opened, oh, what? Oh, look at this. Amazing. I got fireworks. I didn't do that. It would have been fireworks if I got a fast sign agency. Would it have taken years? Yes. All those companies have relationships with other fast sign agents or franchises or Signorama. Or I learned the whole industry, met everybody, went in and I said, okay, I need one railroad. And I had a network into railroads. How long am I going to take? 2 years, even with the network. They're going to meet with me. I always get the meeting and I'll stay in touch. I always stay in touch. Am I going to give them a plan? Yeah. Profit improvement program. I've done all the sales training. I know how it works. I didn't want to do it, but I wanted security. I didn't want security. I wanted freedom. I lied to myself. That's the problem. I'm inside this illusionary game of my own mind. State Farm didn't create the illusion. Neither did Gallagher. I did. Some people, I'm at lunch with a bunch of people, top people at Gallagher and Chubb or Fireman's Fund or AIG, one of those big carriers. And we're having lunch and I'm the new guy, and how'd you get into insurance? Nobody decides to go into insurance. It just happens. Why did it happen? Well, my dad. Oh, my mom. Oh, I'm a Gallagher. This is like, what else am I going to do? Of course, I'm going to go into insurance. We have a multi-billion-dollar public corporation. I'm going to go work there. Sounds good. And I got a million friends because I was in a frat at Miami of Ohio, or I know a lot of private equity people, worked for them. Every single person there had the same story of, oh yeah, here's how I got in, and now it's great. I love it. And I'm like, I love it too. If I didn't have to build a book from scratch, or at least I could get supported, which I wasn't. And it would have gotten me what I didn't want anyways. That's the point. Taking a risk was not that. The risk was getting into marketing intelligence, data marketing, database marketing, marketing technology, ad network marketing, and getting jobs at Cognite or Baynote, Marketing IQ, went on forever, Optimine, and then finally Networked Insights, where now I'm 200 something grand a year base with draw and the whole thing, realizing this company doesn't know what they do. Where did I close? Allstate, insurance carrier. For consumer insights, I understood it cold immediately. You know who didn't? They didn't. They thought it was a media optimization software company using social data. It was not. It was not media optimization in the marketplace. They thought it was because they'd closed Samsung and they succeeded. It was a good product. And they sold that company for, decent money. I don't think it was huge money. Goldman backed it. And they had Forrester in there, Gartner, the whole dog and pony show. And I remember my boss is telling me what it is. And I'm like, that's not what it is. This is not what this company does. It's a consumer insights company. I met with Ipsos and they saw it right away. They're like, we already do this. They saw it as a competitor. Now they could have bought, they didn't have the money. These are service businesses. They're not the client. Media companies are not the client. They're the service company. Who's the client? Allstate. Who did I get a meeting with? It was a director level, a manager level guy, George, who came from Dell. Why'd they hire him? They were trying to figure out social data insights. Allstate. They had a whole department, customer intelligence department built up to experiment. Where did I go? There. Why did I get fired? I didn't fit the culture. Same thing. You would think a company like Networked Insights wasn't corporate. It was corporate. For a guy like me, business developer, I'm a peon, cog in the wheel. They wouldn't listen to me. And I didn't know how to talk to these people. I just saw it. I'm like, this is it. Let's do this. And it worked. And then I got fired. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I learned, got out. Thank you for firing me. What did that lead to? Starting my own company called Sales Partners that succeeded using LinkedIn back in 2012. I was winning, but something was off. I started to see how the freedom of being captive at Networked Insights. And before that, Optimine was great. I worked for Bill, one of the partners. I love this guy. He was fantastic. And then what happened? They took money. It was a Google bid optimization system because Google was crushing people online. Was the first person I got meetings with almost every corporation around, and media companies. None of them wanted it. They wanted to know what it was. More math, better math was the slogan. Who does that attract? People who won't buy it. Who bought it? Marketing people in pain. Enova Financial was the big deal I closed. And I walked away from a lot of commission because the new CEO who brought us up to his private country club in Minneapolis, which is where this company was headquartered, these people were really smart. Fingerhut, catalog, it comes from the catalog industry, a lot of this stuff. In marketing, AI's got lots of angles to it. This was AI, neural networks, decision trees based on data flow, wisdom of crowds. That's how Google started too. I got in the industry from scratch, and all of a sudden I'm meeting with top people. That's what I do. But it didn't feel connected because I'm doing it for them. That led to doing it for myself later. And I'm at this guy's country club, and I thought, this is going to die too. I got to get out of here. And sure enough, they pushed the guy out the door that I liked, who liked me. We connected really well. He was a real expert, loved it. It was cool what they were doing. I loved it. And I had my first pipeline review with the new CEO, and I'm like, I'm out. I quit. And I got a job with Networked Insights. And then when I got fired at Networked Insights after 6 months, I got a job with a tag management company. It was easy now. Now I'm an insider, and I succeeded. So I say I did this, and I think, oh, the offer letter never came. I'm a VP of partnership now without an offer on my start date. The head of sales was like, well, that's weird. He said, oh, sorry, they put a hiring freeze. The board's reworking some strategy. I'm like, screw you, I'm out. I left the entire industry. I know how to do lead generation. I started a lead generation sales outsourcing company. That's freedom. And it was. And it worked. You have to walk away from a path that appears to be working when it doesn't feel right because it's not working. But you have to stay long enough to learn what you need to learn then. You don't walk away because of the pain. You walk away because it doesn't feel right anymore. Or take getting fired and say, thank you for putting me out of my misery. I should have sued those assholes, but I didn't. Networked Insights. You don't short people their paycheck and make up a story, but I didn't feel like it. I've sued a lot of people and I've been sued a lot. I'm not afraid to sue people. But it just wasn't worth it. Private equity. Think about it. Is that what you want your life to be? Why that decision gave me the foundation for everything I've built since. So I'm going to give you 5 takeaways. Real autonomy looks like a structured system. Inside, it's an inside structured system. Spot performative entrepreneurship versus the real thing. The insurance industry taught me about sales, service, and sovereignty. I'm not working for other people. Corporate safety nets are soft traps. The power of walking away, even when you proved you can succeed. It's not success. This story is not about insurance. It's about a deep tension so many of us feel. It's the pull between security and sovereignty, which is liberating freedom. It's between systems that promise freedom. I was in them. And the inner knowing we're being managed in those systems. So if you like it, do it. maybe a way station, or maybe your final resting place. Some people are really happy with this. In this entrepreneur experience platform we've got, we're unpacking these moments because they're turning points and you want to turn in the right direction. They're where founders either trade their soul for predictability, me, and then I took it back. But I really didn't trade it. It's where I needed to be at the time. Or step into the unknown and build something that's actually yours. Is it Google's? If it's on YouTube, it's Google's. They own it, not you. Move it off and use their stuff. This session challenges the myth of freedom within the system. It's not freedom if you're in their system. They own your data too, and they own where the audience is, even if you own your name and your content and your list. Choose real autonomy over performative independence. What's performative independence? I'm performing to be popular so I can make money. If you've ever felt like you're succeeding in a game that doesn't feel like yours, you're not alone. And here's the lesson here for you and me. You don't have to stay